The shave we have for you today is Merkur 38C HD, 38C, HD for heavy duty, C for chrome, and I like this razor. I have a feather in it, very sharp, one of the sharpest blades out there. I'm sure most of you know. The nice thing about this razor is that you can loosen the blade from the handle on the bottom, loosen the head, and be able to take it off like that. And so it's a little safer if you have hand issues. You are not, if you have a three-piece razor, then you're holding the head while you're unscrewing the handle like that. And so that's a three-piece. A two-piece, you're holding the handle and unscrewing it down here away from the edges of the blade. So that safety issue could be very important for some of you out there with hand issues. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this guy down. This razor can have the blade misaligned. I have just one that is always guaranteed to be right, so always check. Always check it. Don't do it too tight. You don't want to strip out the screw. It's not made to be really cranked on. While my soap was blooming, while my badger brush was soaking, I got out my tools. Those two items are the first things I start so they can get soaking while I get all my other stuff out, like witch hazel. I've been using that instead of my Nivea balm lately and trying it out. I like it. The Nivea leaves you kind of greasy or oily after the shave, and I've already got oily skin anyway, which is kind of why I'm trying this witch hazel. But the witch hazel leaves me a little sticky. Maybe that's because of the aloe. Maybe if I were to get another formulation without the aloe, it would kind of get right to a better feeling on my face. I'm not sure, but after a while, I don't mind it. The stickiness does go away. I'm stuffed up. It's allergy season right now where I am, and so if I sniff, snort, all that kind of stuff, and if I'm sounding a little groggy, you know why. The soap that is on the docket for today is Razorock Stallion. I don't like the smell very much, and this is the reason why I chose it today, because I can't smell anything because of my sinuses. So I think this one's a little obnoxious. It's like a bad cologne, but that's only my opinion. Since it's a cologne type smell, I'm sure there's tons of people out there who love it. It's also made for a specific person. I think his name was Anthony Esposito. Really, apparently very helpful out there on the web to all kinds of the shaving community members. And so I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. So there's no slight. There's no intended slight on him at all, because I don't know him. But just in terms of objectively evaluating the fragrance on this one, that's what I'm talking about. The Stallion. So since I can't smell it, I figure, hey, I'll whip that one out. I know it makes a good lather. It's a good performing soap. So I just won't be able to smell it. And that's exactly what I need tonight. Razor's ready. Witch hazel's ready for later. I have my alum block sitting on the side just in case I get a nick. I can whip that out easily. And I think we're ready to go. Now, this is my normal bowl of choice. It's a dog bowl from the Dollar Tree. The corner here, it makes it very easy to hold as I'm grinding up lather, and because there's a corners there, my fingers have something to grab onto. Like it. But tonight I'm going to try something new. Virtually the same size. I like the larger bowls. So I can palm this one as well. I do have large hands, which is why this long-handled razor appeals to me as well. Just a basic ceramic cereal bowl found at the Dollar Tree. So we'll give it a shot. right, the brush is Whipped Dog, black resin Luna handle, 24 millimeter knot, Badger silver tip. I love it. Now I will shake out most of the soap, most of the water, and I'm going to rinse my face a little bit with the water that's here in the bowl of soap. So I'll put you on pause. All right, there we go. We'll pre-wash using the bong water. So this soap is wet because I've had it soaking for several minutes, maybe too long, I don't know. The brush, I'm going to shake off as much water as I without doing a vigorous shake, because I know that this has water in it. I learned, my big hands love this extended handle, the Luna handle, worth it for me. So I'm going to load my brush. Watched some good videos just the other day about he was lathering some Sterling soaps. I'm gonna try some of those one day. Good performance, good cost, you know, that sort of thing. And he was talking about how when you first start lathering, now this is a soft soap. I can press it down with my thumb, for instance, so it gave me it loads pretty quickly. Sterling is a hard soap from what I understand, and so he showed his brush and it almost looked like it was loaded, but he said it wasn't actually. That was just like the clay particles from the soap. So you had to keep going. I thought, interesting. Thought that was interesting. All right, I am confident that I have plenty of the soap on the brush. I like the Razorock soaps. I like this fragrance, the Stallion, but the Tuscan Oud was amazing. I used that the other day. Oh, that's so good, right up my alley. So good. I just, I'd leave the bathroom, come back in, and still smell it around. It was nice to keep appreciating that. So this guy's definitely loaded, ready for war. And I will, I have hard water. I'm going to pour a little bit of water because I know I'm going to need it. I have hard water, so I use distilled water in my cup right there and to soak my brush in. So I instantly get some of the water that was in the brush, was being held by the brush, is released and combines with a little bit of soap to form some large bubbles. Well, medium-sized bubbles, but it's a very wet, liquidy lather right now. But don't fear. I see so many of those small shaving cups online. I just love these big bowls. I just can't imagine. I've already got a nice big chunk here. I can't imagine mixing up. I don't know. I like a lot of lather. I like to lay it on thick. I know you don't need a huge thick layer on your face, but I like it. Looking good. Got some peaks. But we'll keep going at it. I probably need to add a little bit more water in a second. So glad for all the YouTube videos out there. If you're watching and you're one of the people like Michael Friedberg, Geo Fat Boy, is that the right name? Then thank you so much for putting your experiences out there to help people out. Yeah. We don't have. I'm touching the brush to it and pulling away, and I get small peaks, but I'm kind of interested to see if I can get some longer, taller peaks. Do I have a sheen? Yeah, a little bit. I kind of like more of a custardy lather, not true custardy, but I don't want it to be too wet. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of distilled water. I discovered that the, what did I use? That's right, yeah, Razorock soap. The Tuscan Oud was the one I used recently, and I forgot about whipping out the distilled water, and so I had to use it with normal tap water, and it worked well. So that was a Razorock soap. So perhaps the Razorock soaps do well with hard water. Yeah, that instantly kind of blew up my lather, meaning it increased exponentially in volume. Look at that, yeah. Oh, that's got an even nicer sheen to it. Let's see what kind of, yep, more peaky. I'm kind of a science guy myself, so this whole lather mixing up thing is kind of like a daily science experiment. If you've got a tiny bowl, where are you going to hold all this lather? That's my question for you. This is a large badger brush, and it can hold a lot of lather. I am happy with this. This looks great. I'll give you a little closer view here, in case that helps. I could probably get even more volume and stuff if I had a little bit more water, but don't need it. I like the thickness of it. I've been evaluating an assortment of blades for a while. I've got so many different blades that it's taken a very long time because I have a few different razors, and so when I bring out a blade like a Treat or a Trig or an Asco, those last two I don't think did very well for me, or a Lord, what else, Merkur, Derby, had all those, I would try each blade out with maybe 4 different razors, and so it's like a blade a week, and I had so many blades that I'm still going through them, and so I tried feather first, the feather blades, and so I hadn't really been back to them. So, oh yeah, there we go. There was a nice long peak right there. There we go. I'm happy. I'm happy with this. So I'm going back. I had to. So I'm evaluating all these blades, and there's a few that fall into these guys suck category. There's a few that fall into these guys are amazing category. So far, the ones I've discovered about that are Treat, Astra, Feather, Kai, and Persona. Those are the ones that I've tried. But then there's a whole middle group of just, sharp blades that are very serviceable. Wilkinson sword, all kinds. And so it's been a while since, so while I'm evaluating if it's in that middle category, then I'm always saying, well, it's sharp, but it's no feather. you know. And so I'm finally, because what usually happens is I'll do 3 passes, and then I'll have to do trouble touch-ups on my little neck hairs right here. A little kind of a swirl or whatever that just causes me problems. And I just keep saying, but it's no feather. And so I have used this blade one other time, just recently here, and it reminded me how awesome it is. Just after 2, maybe 2.5 passes, I didn't need to do any touch-ups down here at all. Beautiful. So I'm coming back to the Sharpie, to the sharp guy. Coming back home, if you will. But it's so funny that I was a whole different shaver back then when I was using the feather the first time. All right, I'm getting my face wet, and then we'll start lathering up. And let's see how. Also, the Stallion may be strong enough to wake up my sinuses, clear out my sinuses a little bit. I wonder if there are people out there who have like medicinal shaving soaps to clear out your sinuses and stuff. Well, there's a menthol. There's all the different menthol ones. I've used this. I have another whip dog brush that I've used a lot more than this one. This one is maybe 3 uses old. The other one's a lot softer because it's got about 20 times more use on it. This one doesn't quite feel like magical puppy dogs dancing on my face with their ultra soft fur. But we'll get there, right? You don't have to lay it on as thick as I do. I just enjoy it. Well, that black bowl held up very well. It had a curved bottom, but I was easily able to grab it. I've got more of a wet hand now, so we'll see if that comes into play later. But I'm kind of done mixing it up, so maybe it doesn't matter anymore. We'll see. There's the soap. Let's get the razor. I wish. Oh, that's so nice. That feels so good. It is when you've kind of had the inexpensive experience for a long time, and then you jump back into your bed with 600 count thread count sheets. That's kind of what this feels like. Also, the first time I used this razor with a feather blade, I was using the wrong technique. I was starting perpendicular and then changing the angle until I felt effective cutting. And so it was much more of an open angle. I've since learned that, mainly from Michael Friedberg, that for most of my razors, a closed angle is much more, gives me a closer shave, makes me almost never get any nicks. And so this is the first time the last time I used this combination of razor and blade, I was using that technique, and I would usually get a couple of nicks. It's a little more scrapey when you are starting parallel and kind of lifting it out just a little bit, maybe a 20-degree angle, who knows. But so smooth. No nicks, even from an aggressive blade. So in a sense, I've never shaved with this arrangement before, since I'm using a totally different technique. A little water before we do the second pass. I did not wash all of wanted to keep some of the slickness, so I didn't take all of it off. Get some more of that good lather. Boom, how thick is that? It's so funny, I can barely smell it. My nose, I woke up with it clogged up, and then I knew the season was upon me. Glad I didn't add any more water, because I wouldn't want it any thinner than this for my own preferences. Now, the guy who was doing the Sterling tutorial said that you can kind of keep going when you're mixing it up. That could have, because he said it really changes if you just keep going. Maybe that was just with the hard soap, so I'm not really sure. I put these little extras all over my face just to have it be a little thicker. It's definitely not mandatory. All right. What, second pass now? This has the what did I say? This is a 38C. So there's kind of the head of it. Closed comb, as you can see, the safety bar, and then you can see the grooving here. It's very smooth. It provides a little bit of grip, but it's all one direction. It's all diagonal. I wish it was bi-directional, because like a screw can go up and down as long as it's turning. So can this, and it's a little bit less confidence inspiring. I find myself using my bottom fingers down here to maybe hold on to that knurled piece, the end piece, to help out. I wish they would have done just two directions instead of just the one. This is now going to be an across the grain shave. Recently I was using what was it, a Rapira. Holy cow, it was rough that first pass. It was so noisy and loud. Definitely, it was the stainless Swedish Super Steel. Definitely won't be using that one again. That one is not a blade for me. A lot of people like it apparently, but it just doesn't work with my skin apparently. Cross grain is going to be something like this. Go over that Adam's apple area a couple of times, and I just feel no irritation. I believe this is a mild razor. Let's see, yeah, this is still a good cross grain direction on this side of the face as well. Oh man, so these mild razors are really good for those ultra sharp blades like Feather and Persona, because you just get the sharpness without as much risk. Nice, that was ultra smooth as well. 38. What was I saying about this? I think it's a 38C. I think if you look it up on Amazon, it's Merkur barber pole, 38C HD barber pole. Barber pole's definitely in the title. Going to go down and get some face rinsing going on. Now, as is typical with the feather, I don't believe I need to do any. Yeah, that's nice. Close and smooth. I don't feel like I need to do any more cheek work. Let me tell you, this is my trouble spot as well as the Adam's apple, so I'm going to check those closely in the mirror. Yeah, I do need to do a third pass, and if I do it at the right angle, I may not need to do any touch-ups, and that is what feather does for me. With just about all those middle range blades that are just sharp and serviceable and inexpensive, that kind of thing, I usually have to do 3 passes and a touch-up in the neck area. But often with feather, just the 3 passes, as long as that third pass is kind of strategic in direction. So far, okay, I am smelling a little bit of this. You know, the fragrance may not be for me, but sometimes the first couple times I tried it, what I would do is I'd pretend like I was about to go out on the town and go to the disco back in 1970 or something like that. That's just kind of what the fragrance seemed to make me believe, you know. I had some big obnoxious colored shirt on with a black jacket and like a V-neck shirt, you know. All right, feather, beautiful feather. So similar cross grain, this is the trouble spot here. I'm going to flip it over and do the other direction of the cross grain shave. And just to make sure that my angles are good, take small strokes. Also so that when I get over in an area where the hair direction has changed and it changes from an cross grain shave to an against the grain shave, I'll be able to stop right away. My skin does not like the against the grain shaves. I am a cold water shaver, so I don't have to worry about waiting for the hot water. I don't have to worry about closing pores. You know that's a myth, right? You don't open and close pores. All right, I'll do similar way over here with the diagonal coming up from the bottom. Very smooth. Now the other day with my open comb, I was able to kind of do a push like this and put some of the shaving cream back on my face. So I didn't have to go back to the brush. Okay, let's see. I don't really feel too much irritation. I'm going to leave that alone. It didn't get everything, so this is the second use of this one. So maybe it's probably this razor. If it was the 4th use of this blade, I'd say it might be the blade's not having quite its just fantastic edge on it. It's, maybe after 3 shaves, it moves down into the category of just the other sharp blades. Not sure. Not saying that authoritatively. I'll tell you what, sometimes I wish I could shave 2 or 3 times a day. Did used to have a friend named Dennis, and I will go ahead and do a touch-up just because I like to lay it. You know, maybe I need to dry my face a little bit more when I come back from the rinse, because, you know, I start to add the lather, and the water that's already still kind of all over my neck dilutes it immediately. Just learning. I try to tell you the source of my info so that you know if I'm passing on wisdom from other people who have been doing it a long time, or if it's just my own experimental opinion. But at least what I'm conveying is my experience, and that's true. I'm telling you what what things are as I experience them. And for that, you don't need to have a lot of years in this. All right, let's see. Let me get the direction right. One of those where you don't want to get it wrong because you get irritation. All right, I think that's as close as I want to get. I'll take a, oh, hey, here's my first little, nah, he's fine. Yeah, those hairs are short. I'm happy with that. They're not totally gone, but I'm happy with that. So that's very interesting. That's the second use of this blade. And with my Parker variant, I was easily the third pass, got those hairs no problem. With the 38C, it took another touch-up pass. I'm interested to see how this blade works on its third use. I wonder if it'll keep its sharpness or if it'll kind of start to go downhill. A little water rinse, right back with you. So there's the rinse. I did want to mention that the Parker, I think it's 24C, 24, it's an open comb. It's, this is the Merkur. The Parker has the checking all the way down it with little bands of faceted stainless steel, and or not stainless, chrome. And so it's very distinctive, but it's open comb, and that is the one that I used with the feather blade previous to this use, and it was a closer shave than this. Let me say that it got these neck hairs without a problem, so it's looking like that might be a better razor if I've got feathers on hand. And it was just as smooth, even being an open comb. I think that's a myth. The open comb factor is all dependent on different variables like the razor and your skin. So just because it's an open comb doesn't mean it's aggressive. So very happy with this combination though. It was very smooth. I like the weight of it. I'm glad I got this razor. It's great with a feather. So now I will just do some cleanup, washing the little soap off the rim here, cleaning out the brush. Oh yeah, this is why you're still here. Do the witch hazel. I think I like the spray bottle better than the doing a splash, because I don't have to rub my skin as much. Sometimes after a shave it's a little rough. All right, well that's it. Little Thayer's Witch Hazel. Happy camper. So fun with the feather blade. We'll try it in another razor very soon, and it'll be the third use of it. We'll see if it maintains, we'll see how well it gets these hairs. So smooth, mild razor, and so putting a sharp blade in it like a feather or a persona is going to be generally safe for people with skin types like me. It went through just fine my 1 day's worth of growth. So back to an old combo right there. Really enjoyed it. And it did, a few months ago when I was first going through this blade assortment, you know, as I told you, I was shaving at more of an angle like this maybe. And today I was going more at this type of angle. And this was a much closer shave. And it's a nick-free. And so it's to me it's superior. Depending on the blade and the razor, sometimes you get a lot of chatter and scrapiness if you use kind of a closed handle type angle. But to me it's worth it because of the good benefits. So there you are. With this shape of bowl, I had no problem. Is it any different than the kind with the... I'll tell you what, one thing it was it moved around in the sink a lot more, and it may be just because of I think the other one had more, because it was out of the edge, it was a larger circle to hold on to the surface of the sink. When I would put my brush in there and move it around a little bit, this bowl would move on the sink. Big deal. So this shape of bowl, I definitely like. I'll probably go back to my dog bowl, but because this is easily held. And do another break-in here of the Whip Dog brush, Silver Tip Badger. Still very happy with that. And this time I used distilled water, but I think I learned that the Razorock soaps are very hard water tolerant, so I could have used my tap water there. So good all the way around. I hope there was some information in there that helped you. Take care.